An epic cliffhanger during the Season 3 finale of Yellowstone left us wondering what will happen next. Questions about right and wrong and good versus evil were clean and clear. And as Season 4 began, we got justice in the way of a sequence that actor Jefferson White said cost $10 million. As Season 4 wraps, things are much more complicated. I keep looking back on Garrett Randall's streamside conversation with his son Jamie, the one where he rightly tells him that the Duttons will always use his fear against him, before going on about how these last few months of his life have brought him the joy that balances out 61 years of torment.
If I can ever teach you to be fearless, then you would truly have the world whipped.
Garrett planned the attacks that closed Season 3, but in the end, is he evil? We'll get to Beth's conversation with Jamie that preceded this scene in just a moment. I think she was wrong, and I think Jamie was right this entire time. That makes Garrett right, which makes it all that much more tragic. Hey, it's Billy Dukes, and there are clues about what to expect for Jamie in Season 5 of Yellowstone. In fact, the answer has been right in front of us all season long, but I'd like to know where you come down on Garrett and Jamie. Was justice served? Hit me in the comments section below or drop an email at staff@tasteofcountry.com. In a few days, the Dutton Rules podcast will unpack this further and include your thoughts and opinions. Find links in the description section for that program. Here's where I'll give you 3 seconds to hop out of this video before the spoilers begin, including what became of Garrett, the emotional Beth and Rip sequence, and the epic fight that led to Jimmy's departure from the show. As always, time codes are in the description, so if you want to hop around, have at it. Let's start with the show's biggest cliffhanger leading into Season 5.
What did you see?
I saw the end of us.
That's Kayce, talking to his wife Monica after his 4 vision-filled days on the mountain. He said, "I saw the end of us." But if that means the end of him and Monica, or the end of the Dutton family, or the end of civilization, it's kind of open-ended. There was no payoff to all the ceremony. Yellowstone weaved his visions between everything Beth was doing. You know, it was a typical Beth day that included making Carter cry, a prison conjugal visit, kidnapping a priest, and threatening to kill her brother. Despite the lack of resolution, I really loved the way the show presented Kayce's quest. Actor Mo Brings Plenty is a consultant on the show, and he says it was all very true to the actual ritual, which I appreciate.
It's spot on. There's a true battle that goes on within us. That place is where we begin to find ourselves.
We learned more about Kayce's history in the Marines, and we got a little bit more Lee.
He said, pray for a vision. But I don't see you praying.
I know, it's been like 4 years, but Lee is Kayce's older brother, the one killed by the indigenous group in the very first episode of Season 1 of Yellowstone. He was a great character, really killed too soon, and looking back, it was a sign that we should take nothing for granted on this show. In this episode, his ghost tempts Kayce. In the end, though, Kayce sees 2 terrible paths from which to choose, and his guide isn't much help. All of that is setting up Season 5, and that's important to remember because it's going to be a few months before we get there. A brief scene where Beth gets fired from Markwood Equities kind of served the same purpose. No surprise there, right? We did get some resolution to the Jimmy, Emily, Mia love triangle. It was pretty epic, but before we talk about that, alright, let's just talk about that a little bit because this part was amazing.
Go, fight!
Stick a pin in it because this very long episode was all about Beth, John, and Rip. The show opens with Beth packing up to leave before Rip gives her an ultimatum.
You break your promise to me, and it stays broken.
That promise goes back to this scene from last season when they pledged their lives to one another. As pretty much everyone predicted, John and Beth make up after last week's argument, and she sets off to kill Terrell Riggins, played by our boy, Bruno Amato. Hi, Bruno! Plan is to seduce him by way of a conjugal visit, and then stab him with a hairpin. But,
like I told the other guy, the order come in, I send it out. For me, it's just business.
What other guy?
so it's off to kill Jamie, but first she decides she should get married because she might go to jail. So she kidnaps a priest at gunpoint, gathers Rip, her dad, and Carter, and with Lloyd as best man, and the ring that Rip pulled off his late mother's corpse all gathered around, they say I do. That's pretty much the next Disney fairy tale, right?
And now, Miss Dutton, repeat after me. I, Beth Dutton.
Fuck yes, I do.
No, not yet. You do, I suppose.
You forgot about that ring, didn't you? He tells Beth it was his mother's, but doesn't mention that after she proposed marriage to him in season 3, episode 7, The Beating, he dug up his mom and yanked it off her finger. That show, man, it goes there. The first 3 quarters of the finale were a setup for what happened during the final quarter. It begins when Beth visits Jamie again, and she's ready to kill him and die trying, but he tells her about what his real dad, Garrett, was up to. So she gives him 3 choices. The first ends with him in prison for a crime he didn't commit. The second involves Rip killing Garrett, and then hunting down Jamie for the role he played in Beth not being able to have children. It's been a while, so I'm quickly going to revisit that scene from episode 5 of season 3, when a flashback scene reveals that teenaged Beth asked Jamie to drive her to get an abortion. He takes her to the reservation to avoid public scrutiny. The problem is, on the res, women who get abortions also get sterilized. The other problem is...
Is it okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, he didn't tell her. So if you jumped in late or just forgot, that's why Beth hates Jamie so much. Every fight is really about that. And before we even know all of that, she says this during episode 8 of season 2, that one day,
someone will love you, and you'll love somebody, and I can't wait to take that from you.
Well, dang if that didn't end up being true, because the third option is what Jamie chooses. During the streamside conversation, Garrett tells Jamie not to let the Duttons deceive him into thinking he's a bad man.
You're a good man, son. And I love you.
Jamie says, "I love you too, Dad," and then makes a decision that I don't think he can come back from. As he kills his real father, viewers realize that everything Beth thought about Jamie and everything Garrett says that he worries about is true. Later, Beth takes a picture of Jamie dumping the body at the train station, so she now kind of owns his butt for life. So what's to come for him in season 5? Well, here is how actor Wes Bentley has been doing interviews lately. The only other time we saw bearded Jamie was after he killed the reporter and that emotional spiral to close season 2. Who's the good guy? Who's the bad guy? Who are you rooting for? Dang if that's not as complicated as ever. I'm personally going to have to sit with it, but much like Dan Jenkins in season 2, Garrett's death really rattled me. I like to point out the songs used during each episode, and I'll do it right now. During the closing credits, it's Colton Moore and the Clever Few in a song called Peace in the Pines.
Peace in the pines. Down by with those white and yellow lines.
During the cow roping competition that provided some levity to this episode, it was Wade Bowen's Beat Me Down. So we saw the last of Garrett and actor Will Patton, who is just brilliant. We probably saw the last of Summer Higgins, too. She ends up getting about a year in jail for her assault on a police officer. Maybe she'll make some sort of comeback, but I think really her character was more of a vehicle to bring John and Beth closer together in the twisted kind of Yellowstone way. It also looks like we've seen the last of Mia, Emily, and Jimmy as well, because after Jimmy returns, John tells him to go back to the 4-6s with his fiancée. Oh yeah, they're getting married now, which goes over, to quote Jake, like a fart in church. Was anyone else surprised to see Emily was such a fighter? The girl throws some mean hooks, and she big time messes up Mia. Long story short, Jimmy chooses Emily, and as they drive off to the sunset, we get this very sad Mia scene. Feel a little bit bad for her because she did do so much for Jimmy, but them be the breaks, girl. By the way, I'm going to pat my own back here for predicting that when Jimmy returns to the Yellowstone Ranch, he'd be called Jim.
Texas was good for you.
Yes, sir, I think it was.
The only person you owe is yourself, Jim.
Don't mind me. Hey, I was wrong on so much. Just let me have this one. So that's season 4. We'll further unpack all of this during the Dutton Rules podcast and be back here soon with video analysis of Yellowstone prequel 1883, plus more news and insight on what we just saw. Honestly, it's been like a day. I might have missed some things important. Subscribe, tap the thumbs up button, and leave a comment below about how you felt about season 4's finale, and email staff@tasteofcountry.com. I'm Billy Dukes for Taste of Country. Thanks for watching.